Hello everyone. In this video, I will be presenting the task 4.1p persistent layer. In the previous task, we have implemented a full web API using controllers where the data was stored in memory. However, this approach does not persist data when the application stops. The goal of the task is to add a persistent layer between the API and database so that data can be stored permanently and accessed even after the application restart. To achieve this, we used PostgreSQL as the database system and connected it to the ASP.NET Web API using a data provider called NPG SQL. The persistent layer acts as an intermediate layer between the application layer and the database layer. This improves the system architecture by separating data storage logic from the API logic. In this task, we have implemented database tables for robot command and map, data access classes for retrieving and modifying database data, and integration between the controllers and the persistent layer. To implement the persistent layer, I followed several steps. First, I installed the PostgreSQL and used VS to connect the database server. Then I created a new database called SAT331. After that, I created tables corresponding to the entities from the previous task. For example, the robot command table fields such as ID, name, description, is move command, create date, modify date, as you can see clearly formed the model class. Similarly, I created a map table containing ID, name, rows, column, description, created date, modified date. Next, I seed the database with initial values such as commands left, right, move, place, report. After setting up the database, I added the npjsql package to the API project using .NET add package command. Then I created new folder called persistence and add two data classes, map datasets and robot command datasets. These classes handle database operations such as select, insert, update, delete. Finally, I modified the controllers to use the persistent layer instead of the in-memory list. Now I will explain the key parts of the code implementation. Now moving to the robot command data access class. This class is responsible for retrieving and modifying robot commands stored in PostgreSQL. It contains a connection string used to connect the database. The connection string is saved in app settings.json to improve the security issues. The getRobot commands method connects to database and execute a SQL query. Select star from robot command. These objects are then returned as a list to the controller. Adding methods were implemented for inserting commands, updating commands, deleting commands. Each method executes a SQL statement using the npgsql command class. Now moving to the controller class. Inside the controller, instead of using an internal list, we now call the persistent layer. These retrieve robot commands directly from the database. Now moving to map.data_access.cs. Similarly, this class performs operations for the map table. It allows the API to retrieve maps, add new maps, update them, and check coordinates inside the map. Now let's test the system. Now it is working successfully. Here we have get all the commands we have added. Now let's search for the move command. Here we have do not have a move command currently. Now let's search the command by ID. Here we get the command with ID 2. Now let's check for an invalid ID. We get 404 not found. Now let's try to add a new command. Now we will post it. 201 created. Then we can also verify it using the get command. Here we have 20. Okay, it is successfully added with name back is move command. The create date and modify date is created successfully. Now let's try to update a command with the ID. For this we have to also put the ID here. Let's try just right. We got 204, no content. Now let's delete the command we have added. That is the back command with ID 6. So it is deleted successfully. Delete the 8 command back. As you can see, it is deleted successfully. Now test the map commands. Here we get them all the map command. We can also search it using ID. Same we can, if I enter invalid ID, we get a 404 status code. Similarly, all the commands we can run for it. So to conclude, in this task, we have successfully implemented a persistent layer for the robot controller API. Thank you.